So, Frank is one of our all-stars here in the Sweps team. He's been doing really well and comes from a sales background. A lot of what we're going to talk about is, the differences between the online lead gen versus, those warm referrals and that kind of stuff and mindset and whatever. But at the end of the day, we're looking for at least the tail end of these to be kind of an open forum. We want to hit all of your guys' questions, want you guys to level up. The goal here is always been to better the Sweps product. We want you guys to be successful because if you're successful, we're successful. We all grow and make a lot of money together. So that is the goal. That said, Frank, go ahead and you can take it away here, man.
Okay, perfect. How you guys doing today? I hope everybody's doing well. I'm just like you guys. I'm in the trenches every day trying to find customers, trying to build realtor referral relationships. So I do the exact same thing you guys do. I'm no better, no worse. But I do come from a vast sales background, and I've used my sales experience to expand on my mortgage industry career. And so Sweps has been an intricate part of that for me. And I'll tell you guys a little bit about it. So the first thing I'm going to do, most of you guys, if not all of you guys, submitted some questions. So I'm going to go over the questions that were submitted and some of my answers that I would give to these questions. And if you guys think, something different, I'm always open to, interpretation or to better myself as well. So one of the first questions was options for clients with no or little down payment. And I'm sure when we have lead generation, people put down that they have $0 or they have $2,500. And so, I don't take that as a discouraging fact that they answer the question like that. I pick up the phone because people don't necessarily know the mortgage process. So I have multiple options for people with low or little money down. The first thing I ask is, okay, well, how do you plan on coming up with your down payment? If they say, hey, I got $2,000 in the bank, well, how do you plan on coming up with the rest? Can you get a gift from family or friends? And then we talk about that and we explore that option. And if they say no, then I talk about, okay, well, there's multiple ways we can get money for you in this process. The first being when I put you with a realtor, because 95% of Sweps leads don't have realtors. I say, when I put you with a realtor, we're going to structure this offer that you're going to make when you're pre-approved to include credits from the seller. If you're buying a $250,000 house, maybe you offer $240,000 and ask for a $5,000 credit. And if that doesn't work, then what we can do is go up to $255,000 or, I just try to walk them down the process to how to get a credit so they're not discouraged that they can't buy a home. The other thing I tell them is, we can also increase your interest rate. So, if you qualify for 3%, maybe we can get you 3.5%. And if I get you 3.5%, and I can get you $3,000 towards your closing. And then we just try to strategize different ways to come up with all the money. And eventually, it doesn't work all the time, but all we needed to work is, 2 to 5% of the time to be successful with our leads. Another question, does anybody else have any feedback on that? Because I have to overcome the exact same objections where people are like, oh, that's all the money I have, because they don't know the mortgage process. Another question that you guys asked was, how do you handle leads that don't answer phone calls? So what I do is I call at different times of the day. So my mindset is I'm going to call you in the beginning, in the first 3 to 4 or 5 days. I'm going to call you 3 times a day if I have to. So I'll call you in the morning, I'll call you at lunchtime, I'll call you at dinner time, right? So if I do that for 3, 4, 5 days and I still don't get a response, and after about the second day, I'll start to leave a message, a voicemail message, and send a text message simultaneously. So here, okay, boom, you got 2 forms of communication from me. And then, Sweps has been doing a good job with emails, but if you guys like email, then include email in that. I'm not an email person. I like the more personable text message, phone call, but that's just me. And it's just so you guys know, it's okay to eventually, if a lead isn't corresponding back with you, it's okay to give up on that lead or take some time off from that lead and say, you know what, I'm going to get back to this person in 2 weeks and circle round robin back. And I also use a Swept system too. So if they don't answer my calls from my phone or the Sweps phone, I tag team between the two phones, because if they're not answering my call from my cell phone, then maybe they recognize a number and they're like, I'm not going to answer that guy's call, but I'm still not going to give up. So then I use Sweps, the Sweps phone, and that's a different phone number. And if I get a response, great. Another question you guys had is, what's the most efficient way to text a lead that doesn't answer? I have one format for texting people, and I live by it, die by it. And when I text, so if I call you, you don't answer, and then I send you a text, the text is going to say, hello, Carl. My name is Frank. I'm calling from Nexa Mortgage. I'm following up with you about your recent inquiry into having a free, and I capitalize the word free mortgage consultation. Give me a call back at your earliest convenience. I would love to help you through your mortgage process. And that's exactly how every single one of my text messages go. Some people respond, some people don't. But I don't want them to think it costs them any money. And I want them to know that my time is free right now. So get all the information out of me that you can, because it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Said best practices when first talking to refi prospects. And I think this is just a general thing that we all have to do in this industry anyway. You ask the correct questions to determine wants and needs. I'm big on determining wants and needs. So what do you want? Are you looking for rate term? Because now I know that you may or may not be shopping me, but I have to keep rate in the forefront of my mind because I want to win your business. So if I always think about somebody that's only looking for rate and term, then you have to ask those qualifying questions, like what they pretty much ask in SWIPs, like, have you dealt with any other mortgage professionals? If the answer is yes, you have to be more competitive, or you're not even going to stand a chance. Also, are you looking for a cash out? So if somebody's looking for cash out, guess what they're looking for? The most money possible, typically. Not all the time, but then you need to know, are you trying to pay off debt? Like, what are you using this money for? So you can structure it to put them in the best position possible. And then someone asked about networking tips. This is a big one for me. Sweps has taken my business, and I'm not like a big guy yet, but I'm well on my way. Like this month, I have like 8 deals in my pipeline, and it's working. Like I started out from nothing. But the way I make this networking work is I use my leads to generate referrals to get new realtor partnerships. So what I started out doing, which is like, I'm sure most of you guys, when you first started in this business, you started making cold calls to realtors, and everybody's a tough guy, Tony, on the phone. They're like, I got a lender. I got a lender. I got a lender. And so, you're like, this sucks. You get one person to talk to you, but they still don't want to do anything. So then finally I started going to open houses, and open houses were great because I got them captive. They can't just run off or hang up the phone, and they can't be too tough because I'm in their face. And so, then they would give me conversation, but then I started to realize they're here doing a job, and their goal is to sell a property. So they'll give me their card, they'll talk to me, and then there's follow-up that has to come from that. But it wasn't the best utilization of my time. And that's what I realized, that it wasn't the best bang for my buck. So then I signed up with Sweps, because the reason I signed up with Sweps is because I said to myself, it's hard to break into this industry when you don't know anybody. So I have to have a bird in hand. I have to have what's the with them. And I learned this from the car industry. Salesmen have this thing, what's in it for me? And we call it with them. So what's in it for you as a realtor to do business with me is I'm going to be better than every single one of your lenders on multiple different platforms. I'm going to communicate better. I'm going to answer your phone when you call. I'm going to return your phone call or your text message if I don't answer your phone call. I'm always available. And I know everybody's life is different, but this is how I structure my business. I told them my phone is on for business from 9 a.m. in the morning till 10 p.m. at night. If you catch me at 10:30, you got lucky. But my phone is always on and available for business because every lender isn't always available. Like some people work at Chase Bank or Wells Fargo, or you guys are working in the brick and mortar building and you give them office phone numbers and you're only available 9 to 5. I tell them I'm going to be different. So that's another way that I'm different. So, I'm always available. I answer calls. I communicate well. And then at the very end, I'm like, hey, I work with 115 different lenders. I do full spectrum lending from A to Z. But also, this is the caveat. I give referrals, not leads. I give referrals. And the way I do that, and so what I did, let me take it back a step. I'm sorry, guys. I started calling real estate offices, and I would call and set up, can I sponsor your meeting if they have a meeting every month? And sponsoring a meeting just means paying for lunch. So when I go to these meetings, I tell them all that stuff. And at the very end, I save the best for last. I provide referrals. I was like, and I don't charge you for a referral. I'm not looking for a kickback for a referral. The only thing I'm looking for is referral partnerships. I'm looking for a realtor that's going to send me business, and I'm going to send my realtor partners business, because I have 5 or 6 or 7 realtors, and I round robin my leads as they come through, or my referrals when they come through. I was like, how many of you, I was like, raise your hand. How many of you guys have gotten a referral from your lender in the past year? I had one person raise their hand out of a room of 22 and a Zoom call of 25. So that was what really sparked my business, because then people started to call me, because the caveat to that is you have to send me a deal first. So if you send me a deal first, I may never have to send you a referral, because you're going to see that I'm going to do amazing business to begin with. But in the back of you, the goal is to always send a referral. But in the back of my mind is I'm going to wow you with what I do. So that's what I use that for. Another way, we can use sweeps and networking is for people with bad credit. We look at people with bad credit and we say to ourselves, this is a trash lead, or this lead sucked. But that lead has potential. And you want to know how that lead has potential? I had a conversation with Matt yesterday, and it really brought something to the forefront of my mind, because bad leads aren't necessarily bad leads. Use that lead that isn't qualified yet, right? To make another networking connection with a credit repair company, because now you're going to be sending that credit repair company business, right? Bing, bing, bing. Then you're going to get on their radar as somebody that's sending them business all the time. And guess what they're going to end up doing? Sending business back your way. Because here, you're going to be sending them so much business, and then they're going to say, or if they don't ever send you business, they'll clean up the guy's credit or girl's credit and send them back to you. So that's another way to establish a relationship. That's another question. I'm old school, guys. I use paper, man. I'm super old school. What are best practices for selling homes in a rising interest rate market or environment? So me personally, I focus on purchase business. And the reason I focus on purchase business is because I want to build relationships with realtors, because realtors are always going to tip, or 80% of the time, they get the client before we do. So if I can focus on building my realtor relationships, then even when the rates rise, I'm still going to get business, because people are still going to buy and sell homes. And as long as I'm the person that the realtor is on the phone with the next lender trying to get in their pocket saying, hey, I got a lender already, I'm okay with that. So, and then at the same time, if our rates are going up, everybody's rates are going up. It's based on the Fed. It's not based on Rocket Mortgage or Nexa Mortgage, what rates we have. We all have the same bottom line on rates, and it just depends on how much profit we want to make on any individual deal. We're in charge of that. Somebody asked about conversion rates, and I think that's probably a better conversation that Matt can answer is, what's the overall conversion rate for sweeps? I don't know that answer, but I'm sure Matt can circle back around to that in a little while. Lead conversion through Facebook has been difficult. What have you done to be successful? So for me personally, I just come from this go get them background in the automobile industry, is eat or be eaten, and I'm just relentless. So I just I pound the phones. I have a rule of thumb. I call, text, or email. I don't really email, but I call or text over and over again as many times as I can until one of 4 things happens: until you buy, until you die, until you tell me to stop calling, or you block me. Those are the only, if you block my cell phone, I'm going to delete you, because that means you just don't want to do business with me. But those are my 4 reasons: buy, die, tell me to stop calling, or you block me. Other than that, you're fair game, because you solicited me pretty much. You gave me your information. I'm going to call until I'm blue in the face. You have to realize that, some of these people aren't answering the phone because they're scared. So I finally, I sent, emails, or not emails. I keep saying emails. I sent text message and call and leave messages over and over again. I had this one lady call me back, and she goes, you know what? Thank you for keep calling me, because I was just scared. And I was just scared you're going to tell me no. And we talked about her situation. I educated her, and she ended up needing to do some work, but I didn't give her a no. My goal is to never give a person a no. I never want to ever give you a no. If the answer is no, it's just no for now. And I'm going to give you ideas and tips of how we can turn that no, or that temporary hold, because it's not a no, into a yes. And so those people will refer you. Those people will call you when it's time. Those people will be your biggest cheerleaders. I ask if they have a cosigner, or if they can get gift funds. So all these people that you know, we call difficult. It's just the nature of what we do. The unfortunate part of lead generation is all the leads aren't going to be 700 plus. All the leads aren't going to have $20,000 in the bank. And it's unfortunate, but guess what? Somebody's going to get these people done. The question is it going to be you? Is it going to be me? Is it going to be Oren? Is it going to be Paul? Is it going to be Akel? If I pronounced that right, sorry. But it's our choice of how far down that rabbit hole we're willing to go and when we give up. So, you know, I used to take a step, and I said to myself, I remember when I was new, and even in the mortgage industry, I'm looking to like, what the is going on with me? I'm having issues. You know what I did? I looked in the mirror, because it all starts and stops with you. You know, how you pick up the phone, how you let your bad day or good day affect your phone call. These things all start and stop with you. So if you can put yourself in the right mindset every time you get on the phone, even though you've just called 15 people and they've all said no or not answered the phone, so what? 16 might be the one that says yes and gonna get you a $10,000 commission. It's our mindset. And when we set ourselves in that correct mindset, the sky is the limit. And it sounds cliche and but it's the truth. And that's how I've built my business. I just don't believe in giving up, and I just keep trying. I keep trying. And when we go through these leads and we get 50 leads a month, 70 leads a month, 100 leads a month, however many leads Sweps is generating you, it's all dirt. It's all dirt until you chip away at it, and you find that little gold nugget. Every lead, every single one of those leads are dirt until you turn it into something, and you turn it into a gold nugget, or you take that coal and you turn it into a diamond and shine it up. That's our job. We buff these rough diamonds and we turn them into money and into profit. But it just depends on how far you want to go. And you have to sometimes think outside the box. It's give me a cosign, or give me something. Just anything other than here. If somebody tells me I can't prove my income, well, I have access to bank statement loans. Somebody tells me I don't have any money down. Okay, well, what about taking a higher interest rate and doing down payment assistance? Yeah, that lead takes a lot of work, but it's money in your pocket that you wouldn't have had, and they're not going to go shopping anywhere else. So here, if you need down payment assistance and your rate's going to be 6.5%, but you're okay with it, I think the rate's high. I think it doesn't make any sense, but it's not my place to tell you what makes sense and what's good for you. My job is to offer you the products that I have available. The best time to cold call was another question. I sort of answered this question earlier, but I call 8 to 9 in the morning, sometime around noon, lunchtime, and I call 6 to 7 p.m. because you never know what people are doing at different times of the day. But typically for all of corporate America that works 9 to 5 jobs, these are times they have time available: morning, noon, night. And then somebody said something about like ideas about calling leads. I don't really have an answer for that. If you guys want to role play, we can do that. But excuse me, I typically, when I call a lead, I just educate. My job is education, because almost all the leads I get from Sweps are first-time buyers. No big deal, perfect, because a first-time buyer is the perfect buyer for me. Every house might not be 300,000, but that's okay, because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be their first lender, and hopefully I'm their last lender, because I'm going to do their first transaction. If I give them a good experience, when it's time for them to upgrade and get a better home, they're going to remember me, and I'm going to do their second transaction. And then their son and daughter, they're going to refer their son and daughter and mother and sister, brother to me, so that one lead can turn into something so much more. So when I pick up the phone, I call, I say, hey, are you a first-time buyer? They say, yes. Oh, perfect. Are you familiar with the mortgage process at all? They say yes or no. I don't care how they answer. I just want them to answer. Yes. Okay, perfect. Well, let me tell you the difference between, or if they say yes, do you know the difference between conventional and FHA? Most of the time they don't. So then I just get into this education thing, this platform of FHA is typically going to get you better rates and 3.5% down. Conventional is pretty much, you can go as low as 3% down. And you guys know all this stuff. And if you don't, we can talk about it some more. But you know the programs that your company offers and how you can offer those things. And the more education you give, almost every person I've talked to who has talked to another lender before, you know what they say to me? I've never gotten so much information, because we always we want to turn and burn. We want to get on the phone, figure out if we have a deal, hang up if I don't, and keep it moving. But I'm not like that. I'm going to try to plant you with so much education that even if you're not qualified to buy today, that you're going to think about me when it's time to buy later. And that's pretty much, all the questions that you guys had for today's meeting. But I hope I gave you guys a little bit of insight into how I've turned sweps into something successful for me. I use it as a realtor generation system, and I use it because my realtor base, I want to eventually get to 20. And then, you'll figure out which realtors aren't sending you a lot of business, and then you'll put them to the wayside, and then I'll come back to sweps, and then I'll start to do that same thing over again when I want to build my business back up. Like, I never give up. I never stop the leads from coming in, because you never know when you get that lull in business and you need them. But I use it because the backbone of our business is realtors. And if you have a stable, I mean, a heavy hitter stable of realtors, the sky's the limit. And that's what I use sweps for, to get me a stable of realtors, where eventually my phone's going to ring and I don't even have to do anything else, because my phone I'm an automatic, and I'm so many realtors' number one go-to lender. That's my goal.
Awesome, Frank. Really appreciate that. A lot of gold nuggets in there. A few things I want to kind of touch on as far as phone numbers go. Within reason, we can acquire additional phone numbers for you guys and different area codes. So if you're finding that a lot of things aren't going through, that is always an option to try. Give you guys some more phone numbers to be dialing out of. Carl, as far as like the refi leads and kind of in talking to them, there's really the two main drivers, right? With sales, it's like, it's going to be the fear of missing out. Like, it's going to be fear-based, or it's going to be positive-based gain, right? So that's always, I think, the first thing to kind of get out of them. Is it wanting to save money and the fear of missing out on the interest rates and things that they can do now? Or is their main driver, like, paying off debt and how much money can they get out of the house? So I think that's kind of the most important thing. Once you kind of have clarity on that question, it becomes easier to kind of steer that conversation and like Frank said, kind of get them what they want, right? As far as never giving up with all of this, with all these leads, unless you're a fly by night operation and you're looking to make some money and get out quick, which is, not the right mindset, in my opinion. We're all in this for the long term. You're building your book of business long term. And so you're playing chess, not checkers, right? And you definitely need to think of like all these people, that compound effect. You may not be able to help someone directly get into a loan. Oh, I thought I just upgraded that. Well, we got 10 minutes. You may not be able to get someone upgraded, get someone into a loan, but by helping them, and the one thing I always like to coach people in the sales game: who else do you know that I can help get into a house? That should be your last question in almost every conversation, because again, it's a numbers game. You may say that to 50 people. You only need one person to refer their boss who's looking for a $700,000 house and has amazing credit, right? Or their friend or their neighbor or whatever. It's like, just because you weren't able to help them directly doesn't mean you're not going to help them down the line. And they're going to appreciate that. And certainly after you spent 10 minutes on the phone giving them a whole bunch of good information and you ask that question, they're going to be like primed. They're going to be like, oh yeah. And, but it is that long game, that never giving up. People that say they're not ready now could turn like they're ready tomorrow, could be 6 months down the line. But if we stay in touch with them, if we use the SWEPS software, the MLO close system, and we nurture those people and just stay in touch with them, then when they're ready, they're going to come to you. They're going to come back. They're going to think of you first. If you don't do that, you're pissing money away. If you just take the lead and then it's like, that didn't work out. Yeah, you are literally throwing money away. So the idea is to think outside the box and really try to figure out, like, how can I leverage what I got? You work with what you got. Let's make, lemonade out of those lemons. Let's refer them out let's do the credit repair. Maybe you got someone who'll pay you $10 a lead or $20 a lead, or it's just doing it on good faith and knowing that you're going to get reciprocated eventually, you know?
Can I chime in one thing? So talking about, the long term, like I said before, is obviously it's realtors. And then obviously, well, not obviously, but the secondary is the credit repair. I mean, there's so many more people that we can build relationships with too, like attorneys, title companies. If I got somebody pre-approved and I'm going to give them to a realtor, guess who else I can give them to? An attorney. So if I get a real estate attorney on my team, think about how many deals they get a month. If they can give me 1 or 2 deals, okay, great. And that just adds to your portfolio, adds to your pipeline, adds to your referrals. If I schedule, if I say, hey guys, let's use this title company, and I'm sending business to this title company. Over time, that title company is going to have somebody come in and not have a lender, or need to change lenders because something went wrong during the process. The different things, when you're giving somebody in their hand, they're going to reciprocate eventually. Maybe not right away, maybe not in the first week or 2, but eventually they'll remember the person that did something for them. It's just human nature. If you do nothing for no one, you may get something, but they won't think about you. And my job is to keep people thinking about Frank Cowan. That's it. Frank Cowan. I'm Frankie Finance, Frankie Finance, Frankie Finance, Frankie Finance. All I want you to be doing is thinking about Frankie Finance, because when it comes to time to get a mortgage, call me. I'm going to help you. And if I can't, even the realtors that have clients that are not working with me, like they had their own lender, they call me and say, hey, Frank, what about this situation? I'm having this problem. And I don't say, well, I'm not answering that question because they're not working with me. No, tell your client to call me. And I don't even try to steal them from the other guy. I just give them my best information, because if that deal does go awry, they can call me. Just keep providing. Just always remember, just keep trying to pay it forward, pay it forward, pay it forward, because eventually it's going to get paid back.
Yep. 100%. 100%. Well, cool, guys. We got a little over 5 minutes left here. So I do kind of want to wrap things up. I'm really excited. We got a lot of things planned. Frank had a little bit of a sneak peek in our chat yesterday, but we're building out some new workflows and sequences for helping you guys follow up with realtors, with the deals that you've lost to competitors or whatnot. And so that we're looking forward to getting that going. The other thing that we're looking to do is add a couple more layers to our cake here. We've got some exciting ideas with Google My Business, and really fleshing out your guys' digital footprint, and helping set you guys up on Google My Business, so that we can start getting you guys reviews too, because there's some really exciting things happening that can allow you to be super competitive within your market with having Google My Business. It's kind of the sneaky side way in to ranking yourself organically and getting on top of Google in ways that a lot of people aren't doing. Your competitors aren't doing this yet. So I really want to jump on that for you guys and get that kind of rolling out. And, the whole thing is like, just building this up. So with that said, guys, I appreciate you all coming on here. This is going to be the first of many. Continue to think of questions, any bottlenecks, all of this really, again, like I said in the beginning, we're looking to better ourselves for you guys. And so if there's bottlenecks, if there's things that we could do, workflows or sequences or whatever, automation to help, we want to be able to do that. We want to be that resource, and get you guys batting 300. So that's what we're looking to do. Again, guys, appreciate it. If I did kind of take a little attendance here, I know that we may have had a little bottleneck with getting the Uber Eats out to you guys. We did want to buy you lunch. Thank you for showing up here and having your lunch with us. And man, I'm glad. I'm excited. I appreciate you guys, and look forward to the next one.
Do you guys have any questions or something that maybe I didn't cover that you guys having issues with?
Will we be able to see the replay somewhere?
Yep, I will get this posted up. It'll probably be 24 to 48 hours. And we'll get this posted up and send you guys a link.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I just want to say,
just want to say thank you guys so much for putting this on. This is great. I look forward to seeing what you guys have coming up next. I'm new to the Sweps family, so to know that these resources also are available as well is really cool. So I just want to say thank you guys for that.
Awesome.
No problem.
Thanks.
Oh, what I'm gonna do too before we run out of time, I'm gonna put my phone number in the chat. So if anybody has a question or anything, just give me a call.
yeah, I wanted to say thank you too. There was a lot of great nuggets you gave out there, Frank. That was awesome. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. I know I talk quick sometimes, so sorry about that.
No, we had limited time, so this was good.
Right. Yeah. Next time I'll make sure my, my Zoom is upgraded here. I don't know why. That didn't take on the back end, but we'll get it fixed. Cool. Awesome. Everyone get Frank's number if they need it. Good, good. All right, guys. Well, hey, have a good rest of your day. Let's crush it out there and hit any of us up if anyone needs any help or questions answered. All right. See you guys on the next one.
All right,
All right,
guys.
thank you.
Have a good day.
This was wonderful.